Hey guys, Michael Firth here, founding advisory board member and Crown with Numi. So this video, which is about 45 minutes long, is going to be broken into three segments. Firstly, we're going to be hearing from our double crown, Karen Justice, and this is all about the preparation before a meeting. Then she'll overlap a little bit during the meeting. Then I'm going to be coming back and talking about some of the skills as a presenter and the tools to use during a meeting primarily. And then Alex, master distributor and double crown, will be coming back at the end talking about closing as well as some other tips and follow through. So with that in mind, let's kick off and hear from Karen Justice.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Justice. I'm a double crown diamond in Numi. And today I'm going to give you 12 points that will help you create really effective events or any kind of meeting. So we're going to start with point number one, and that's contact your leaders. A main attractor factor in networking is fun, creating fun and having enthusiasm. That's what gets people involved and excited about being involved. So you want to work at rekindling the joy of teamwork. And as you get your leaders together, you want to get their commitment and establish a clear agenda. One of the main points that you have to make really clear is that you want to create a safe space for people to bring their prospects, especially if it's a NUMI event that you're putting on and there'll be prospects coming from sidelines. You want to get your leaders to make some sort of a commitment about the number of people that they bring. So you could ask them, how many people they think they can get to the event. They might say 10, they might say 25, they might say 100, depending on the type of event it is. Often a leader can create some sort of prizes that make it even more fun. So that's number one, contact your leaders and get them on board. Number two is to create a team communication place that you meet up. So I would suggest a WhatsApp group, and you're going to have frequent leader meetups, and you want to keep the conversations focused and on track, and again, keep it fun. So number two is create a team group. Number three is you're going to book your room. Now, if you're just starting out, you might be having the event at your house. You might be having the event at a community center or at a friend's house or something. But as you move forward and are putting on bigger events, you probably will book a room in a hotel or a bigger center of some kind. When you're booking your room, a key thing to look at is lighting. You want the lighting to be bright and uplifting. I've been to meetings where, the room has been really gray and it sort of starts off, in not as happy a mood as it could have if you've chosen your room so that it is a fun place to be and that there's lots of good light. I was at a meeting in Miami years ago, and they'd spent a lot of money on the event, but there was absolutely no parking. And so I drove around for about an hour before I could find a place to park. And by the time anybody arrived at the event, they were really stressed out. So make sure that there's ample and easy parking. And the other thing is you can negotiate price with hotels. If they think you're going to be putting on multiple events, a lot of times they'll give you a great price. If they think it's your first event, they can be kind and give you a great price as well. Another thing is you want to, at the time you book your room, ask them that the screen be placed in the room. A small stage is always a good idea because it lets your audience see the presenters more effectively. You sometimes need a projector, or you might have a laptop that you can project from. There's a technical equipment you can get at places like Best Buy or some of the Office Depot type stores that give you a clicker that let you advance slides and let you project. So think about that, how, sometimes when you're having an event, you have somebody Zoom in from another state or even another country. So you want to make sure that you have a means of projecting them up on a screen. Okay, so number 4 is you want to tell the company. If it's a NUMI event, you're telling the company about your event, and then they will post it on their company website. Number 5 is you want to book a speaker. Now, sometimes if it's a bigger event, you can get somebody from the company to come, but usually they'll Zoom on and become part of the event. You can have a doctor speak. People love coming to an event where there's a doctor, or you can replay a video from NUMI's YouTube site. I know there was a big event put on in South Florida about a week ago, and they replayed part of the event was they replayed my video from the YouTube site about the S-curve. So there's lots of choices of things that you can use for your event, and you'll find wonderful assets on the YouTube site. So number 6 is if it's a company event, you can fill out a sample request form, and often it's approved that you can get a few bottles for tasting and for giveaway prizes. So there's a sample request form that you can request and then fill it out. Number 7 is if it's a big event, you want to create an event page on Facebook. You can repost testimonials from the NUMI New Youth page that have been approved. Some of the other exciting information that's on NUMI New You. You can post updates about how great this event is going to be and why they should be coming. Somebody may be commenting on the fact that they're looking forward to meeting everyone, that type of thing. Just create it fun and get people posting. The next thing, number 8, is you want to make sure that you've ordered your banners. Sometimes it can take a couple of weeks to make some of these banners. They're in the back office under tools. I've heard from people that put on a lot of events that they find the stand-up NUMI banner the most versatile. I also like the NUMI before and afters. You can make that into a stand-up banner or something that just sits on a desk. I also like to have blue and white balloons. Inexpensive, but they can add an awful lot of ambience. Okay, so number 9. Over the next couple of weeks, you want to book your live event testimonials. I strongly believe in testimonials at an event, but you want to train them before they speak live. So before you do that, take a few moments to understand what your attendees' needs might be and the things they might be looking for. And so you kind of start to get an idea of the types of things you want to include in your testimonial group, the type of thing the average person would respond to. You don't want the really more dramatic, crazy testimonials that nobody would really identify with. They might think that they're fantastic testimonials, but it wouldn't necessarily make them want to buy it for themselves, such as, when I say, hey, I look 10 years younger, you know what I mean? Here's my before picture. So testimonials also allow people to make the mental leap that if somebody else got those results, they could get them too, and it's much less salesy. You want to make sure these testimonials are short, to the point, and mention the benefits that we're allowed to put out there. Okay, so number 10, again, you want to create a multi-faceted invitation campaign. And with your leaders, you want to create clear action steps. I found this is a step a lot of people don't want to do, but it's the most effective. Number 1 of these action steps is you want to phone people. Okay, phoning people and getting their agreement is by far the most effective step in getting people to your event. Number two, social media. As I said, you might want to create a Facebook page, dedicated page for your event. You want to get all your leaders posting about the event. If you have any influencers in your group, you want them posting about it as much as you can get them to as well. And then the third thing, or the last part, and you can also use additional things to this, but these are the three that are the most essential. Email campaign. Now, it's unfortunate that most people, including me, don't read emails in full, okay? They might look at a headline and glance at a few different things, but they don't read long emails. So it's important to keep your emails short. And what you want to create with your email is some mystery, a little bit of intrigue, so that you leave them wanting more. You want it to be concise and engaging, and you want to always end with, you don't want to miss this. You might include something like new information, you're going to get a free gift, or a fun unveiling. The company's offered an amazing special. Sometimes if it's a company event, sometimes the company will put together something that will give you a special for people that sign up at your event. But that's for a larger NUMI event. You want to, if you've got an email list, again, as I said, short is really important. You want to, as you're mailing your emails out, you want to put in a test email, because a lot of times emails can be blocked for spam. So you want to be careful of your heading, that it doesn't look like spam. But you want to put an email in there, such as your own email, so that you can check and make sure that that email series that you just put out was not blocked. You want to send your emails out in batches of, let's say, 10, 20 at a time, so that you're not hit with spam. If you are hit with spam, you find out the email isn't going out, just call your provider and they will unblock you. But spam blocking is much more frequent than you would think. And sometimes people think, oh gosh, I didn't get any result from my email campaign, and it's because they were blocked. Now, text is by far the most effective of these, by far more effective than emails, but both are important. You want to send out text through WhatsApp and through Messenger and all those kinds of things. Again, you want to create possibly a group of people that are committed to attending, so that you can post updates and, that type of thing. In any of these communications, you want to be clear about what's in it for them, why attending would be well worth their time. And again, as I said, leave them wanting more. My secret in marketing, even in presentations, is always that less is more. You want to be intriguing, and you want them to take the next step. And that next step in this instance is to show up at the event. Now, you want to get all of your leaders doing this. You want to send out at least 3 emails about your event. You want to send out at least 3 engaging texts. With marketing, you can look it up, but they say that it takes at least 7 times or touch points for somebody to react to an invitation or a promotion. So you want to make sure that you send a reminder email and text the day before. You also want to make sure that you do something the same day and add some fun. There's all kinds of emojis or fun little pictures. Laughter lifts us up, and it's always a great thing. Again, as I said, people respond to fun and enthusiasm. They want to be part of something bright and light. Now, all of your emails, make sure that they have the date, the time, the place, and a contact person's phone number. I see so many invitations that don't have that. Okay, number 11. You want to create a welcome committee. Remember, I said fun is the attractor factor. You want to train your welcome committee to prioritize genuine relationships, welcome them happily. Make them feel valued. You want to get their contact info. So you might want to have, a sign-in sheet that you've created. You want to know who invited them. So you'll need clipboards for your event. You'll need paper. And again, these sign-in sheets, if you've created them, you'll need pens. And I recommend badges so that people can have the name tags. It's so nice to be able to look at somebody's badge and realize, oh, that's the person you invited. So I would strongly advise name tags. You can get them on Amazon, very inexpensive. If you're doing a big group, I'd also advise you to order a couple of bouncing balls, like the big ones. I like the sparkly ones, and you can get those on Amazon as well. After people have sat for a while, they get antsy, and so if you do a ball toss and people bat them back and forth, then when they have to sit back down, you have their attention again. So you want people to come away thinking, what a fun group. At one of my events, I gave away, actually at more than one, I gave away inexpensive blue heart glasses, and people put them on. And I think I have a picture of Sergio wearing. But anyway, they're great for selfies. And in my opinion, it gives a fun family, NUMMI family theme. And again, you can get them on Amazon. They were very inexpensive. Number 12, the last thing is create a camera team. It's people that they know that their duty of being there is to constantly take pictures, fun, happy, great pictures that you're going to be able to post on your websites and send some to NUMMI. You want to collect these posts and mini videos so that people will come to your next event because they'll see how fun it was when you're posting about your next one. And so you want exciting group recap videos of your event. As a leader, one of the things you're doing and one of the ways you'll expand in all directions at once is you build from event to event. And these fun pictures that you're capturing of the team are going to make a lot of people want to come next time. So good luck, guys. I hope these 12 points helped.
Beautiful. Thank you, Karen. What do they say? You don't fall on the top of a mountain, and success leaves clues. And Karen is a double crown for a reason. There's a heap of wisdom in what she just said. And I'm hoping that you took notes and wrote them down. You can play it back again. And again, for my section here, please take some notes. Having said that, Karen primarily discussed before a meeting and some of the during aspects. Alex, after me, is going to be talking about closing and follow through and filling in any gaps that Karen and I have left out. For me, I'm going to overlap a little bit. I'm going to talk about a tiny bit before the meeting and primarily how to handle yourself during the meeting. So if you're taking notes, there are three things I'm going to cover off. Number one, some tips for the presenter in setup. Number two, how to handle yourself as a presenter. Believe it or not, there is different dynamics depending what you're doing. And number three, how to best utilize those tools, right? As they say, a hammer is a tool. You can bang in nails, you can also pull them out. So in a small meeting to a big meeting, the slides have a different use. We'll talk about that. Anyway, so taking notes, let's talk about some tips for the presenter in setup. Always put out less chairs than the guests you're expecting. I'll say that again so you can write it down. Always put out less chairs than the guests that you're expecting. So let's say you've got an in-home event and 10 people said they're coming. Don't put out 10 chairs, put out 5. And then when people arrive, have the other 5 chairs ready and another room where you can pull them out because it looks like, wow, I didn't expect so many people. The dynamic of this event is already humming versus 5 people turn up or even 3 and you've got 10 chairs out. Looks like you've got a lame event going on there. So you can control the energy of that by putting out less chairs. Now, even if you've got an event where you've got 100 people who've confirmed in a venue, put out 70 chairs and keep the rest towards the back of the room. Again, it's a rookie mistake to put out all the chairs because in 40 years of experience in this industry, I can tell you how many times I've rocked up and seen an empty room and gone, bit of a morgue vibe in here. Okay, so with that in mind, that lends us to the next point for presenters: walk before you run. What does that mean? A brand new member sometimes can go, right, that's it. I'm so excited. I'm going to pack out a room. I'm going to book a community center with 100 chairs. Let's go. And then they start inviting their own. This individual may or may not have walked yet, meaning they may not have had an in-home. Maybe they've not invited anyone online to an event yet. That's destined for failure if they're going to do it that way. Instead, if you've done your online events, you've done your in-homes, then numerous individuals inviting to a bigger event, fantastic. You're more likely to pack it out. Okay, so walk before you run. Don't bite off more than you can chew. You'll always have less guests turn up than those that are 100% guaranteed said they're going to be there. It's just a fact of life. It's not unique to network marketing. Now, I said before, a morgue, right? Too many chairs can make it seem like a morgue. Having no music or sound can as well. I've walked into big events, believe it or not. Chris and I did one once in a country, and we walked in and said, guys, who's in charge of this? Why is there no music on? It's like you could drop a pin. So put on some music. It doesn't have to be hyped up, just some background music, some noise. Even in an in-home environment, that's a good thing to have happen when people are arriving, just so that there's some energy in the room, okay? And then finally, this is the biggest thing about a presenter beforehand. I really get you to know. Some people will rock up as a presenter in an in-home, for example, or a presenter in an event, and they'll rock up right at the start and get on stage and off they go. You're not relating to any individuals. It's like a poor network marketer that goes to an event and hands out their business card but doesn't spend quality time with people. The quality time for you in an in-home, the quality time for you at a mid-sized or large event is turning up early and then meeting certain individuals in the crowd. So let's talk about an in-home. You rock up and you go and have a coffee and a chat before everything starts. You meet Mary. It's like, oh, hi, my name's Michael. What's your name? Oh, I'm Mary. Hey, Mary, nice to meet you. Where do you fit in? Who invited you? Oh, Mark did. Oh, wow. How do you know Mark? Oh, I've known Mark for 20 years because of blah, 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 blah. We grew up together, whatever. Oh, wow. What do you do for a living? I'm a such and such. Oh, wow. What made you get into that job? Well, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm a plumber, but my knees are really bad. Oh, interesting. Okay. What are you doing about that? So we're gathering information. We're building relationships. We're doing the greet and the qualify, which you've already heard about if you watched the training that everyone studies at the start called the third-party validation training. So we're building rapport and we're finding out needs, wants, and don't wants before we start the presentation. So that quality time and getting to know half a dozen people in the room, you can then eyeball those individuals and talk to them rather than talk at them. That's a big, big difference, right? So that's number one, with some tips for the presenter and setup. Now let's segue to number two, which is how to handle yourself as a presenter. Now, when I say this, just know that I don't know all the answers. I've got a magnificent mentor in Alex Monterosa, who was a crown way before me, and you can't teach what you haven't done. So at some point when I was in the mortgage industry, I thought I want to be a better presenter. So I reached out and paid for, at my own expense, a professional speaking presenter. And he covered off the difference in the dynamic when you're using the same set of slides in a small room, a medium-sized room, and a big room. So I'm going to talk about that for a minute, but I'm also going to talk about your dynamic aside from the tools. So if I'm coming along to a small room and it's an in-home, and let's say, I don't know, 5 or 6 people turn up, the last thing I'm going to do is stand up in the front of the room and talk to those people. Why? It changes the dynamic, me standing, them sitting. Instead, I'll sit in a chair at the front with either the presentation on the TV beside me or what have you, but sitting down makes me one of them, right? And that's important. Now, keep in mind, I've met all these people before and I've got to know who Jenny is and who invited who. And now I'm sitting down and I'm going to relate the presentation to them. So that's the first one, sitting down in a small group or sitting at the kitchen table with a laptop with a small group. Now, the next one is a mid-sized room, okay? So let's say 15 people rock up in an in-home. Rather than stand up, I'll ask if there's a bar stool and I will sit on the bar stool. So now I'm just a little bit elevated here, but I'm still relaxed because I can sit there on the bar stool and my energy of being relaxed creates that relaxed energy in the room. So you as a presenter set the tone. If you're nervous and you're running around like a cat on a tin roof, That'll set the energy of the room. Whereas if you're relaxed, sitting on a bar stool at the front makes it easier. Let's talk about a larger room. Here's a tip that I got given, and it works every single time. Sometimes we're in a bigger room, maybe we're at a community center and there's, 50 people, 100 people, and there's a podium. Instead of hiding behind the podium, if you want to help yourself relax as a presenter and relax the crowd, walk around to the side, lean on it with your microphone, and your whole posture of being relaxed, leaning on the podium shows that you're relaxed and then creates that relaxed environment for the room as well. Okay, so that's how to handle yourself as a presenter. And again, we wouldn't need a microphone unless we're in front of a crowd of that size. You don't need that at home. Now, in all of those cases, the power as the presenter, though, is the bit you did in the setup, which was the quality time beforehand when you got to know the people in the room. You know what Jenny does for a living. You know she's got achy knees and she wants to get out of her job or what have you. So you've spent some time getting to know people. Okay, maybe someone was talking about how many hours they work. You can refer to, hey, maybe Mary can tell you more about that. So then let's go to final one, which is number 3. Okay, and that is let's talk about the tools. Now, there's a statement you've probably heard before, which is death by PowerPoint. Please take some notes on this one. So we've given you the tool, the hammer, knocks in a nail, pulls a nail out. We've given you the slides, which is a tool, and some people will read every single word on that slide like they are reading a book to people. Oh, kill me now, right? That's death by PowerPoint. Instead, in a smaller crowd, we've got to know Mary, we've got to know, Mark, who invited her, and we're going through the slides. You might read a couple of lines. They'll read the rest. You're going to more relate to the individuals, right? So when we talk about, hey, this testimonial here, for an example, hey, Mary, you might relate to this because what you said about your achy knees before, right? So we can relate the presentation without reading everything. Sometimes people will see what we do online with the same set of tools, and some presenters, the new ones, read every single word on the slides because they're new and they think that's what you need to do in an in-home. It isn't. Just pick some key lines and practice beforehand so you can point to the key power statements on each page rather than reading every single word. Okay, so the PowerPoint slides, that's one. And again, have some stories and anecdotal stuff if you are standing up and presenting rather than reading every word. Break it up with some stories and some anecdotal stuff of your own. Now, another tool are the people in the room sharing testimonials. Now, Karen covered this, but I'm going to be even more specific because I'm passionate about this one. If you're in a community center environment and you hand the microphone to someone for a testimonial that you haven't prepared, oops, hang on for the ride. 25 minutes later, it's happened to me. This person's still waffling on and they've talked about every medical condition known to man and just put us in a position where we get shut down. So instead, tell them you want 2 to 3 minutes maximum. Maximum. A powerful presentation involves short, sharp testimonials, not long, drawn out, winded stories. So if you can get that person to practice it, you could have 2 or 3 testimonials, which is about 6 minutes of time, and it's going to really make for a powerful presentation. So always, a couple of things, in an in-home environment, make sure that person has practiced, remind them before the presentation, remember, I need you to go for 2 to 3 minutes maximum. And if I give you the sign, which is, maybe tapping my fingers, that's like wound it up, right? If you're in a community center environment or a small place where you have a microphone, tip, don't hand the brand new person the microphone, hold the microphone yourself, put it under their mouth while they do their 2-minute testimonial, and then you can take it back. Because if the person goes for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, you can literally go, hey, just because of time, we're going to end it there, and you can end it. Whereas if they have the microphone in their hand, you'll never get it back. Trust me, been there so many times, right? Finally, let's talk about other tools. The product, swishing during a meeting. Okay, you could talk about what the product does, and you could actually say, I'm going to get Mary to hand some of these around. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to put them in your mouth. You're going to swish for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then I'm going to talk about the 5 things that you will expect when using our product. And those 5 things are what we talk about on every 3-way call as part of the NUMI 123 system when someone's getting to understand our product. All right, and that is 1, energy, but it might be subtle energy. Maybe you've got to go to the gym or go for a run before you notice anything because there's no stimulants in the product. So they're not expecting a buzz now. Number 2, boosting your immune system. Number 3, reducing inflammation at a cellular level. Of course, that has an big impact on recovery, but reducing inflammation, Doesn't take 5 minutes. It could take a few weeks using the product. And number three is detox. And detoxification is rare, number four. But some people do. What does it look like? Headache, sniffly nose, a bit more lethargic when you use the product than before. Great signs of detox. And then for humor, this came out of the mouth of one of our medical advisory boards, so I always use it on every call. Number five, you can say this for him, you can don't put your hands in the room here, but one of our doctors once said, put up your hands if you were born in the 70s and you've ever consumed a psychedelic. Well, glutathione's the master detoxifier, so you might feel euphoric, but it won't last. Don't want to burst your bubble. It's just detox. Everyone has a giggle, and then we've covered off a lesson on the 5 things to expect. Now, in doing that, you've set them up beautifully when using the product, because some people in the room are going to go, geez, I got some mental clarity. Most people know you're not going to notice anything straight away anyway, okay? Of course, spraying the product in the back of a hand and getting someone to try one hand versus the other within a couple of minutes. That's also a great way to do it. So they're the 3 things we wanted to cover today. I'm going to hand you now to Alex. But before I do, the only overlap, I suppose, I want to talk about with closing and follow through from Alex's perspective, other than a great question, which is, so you ready to get started? Just say that. Don't be scared of closing. Are you ready to get started? And if someone says, well, not yet, I'm going to, that's cool. What would need to happen for you to be ready to get started? What do you need to see? What questions do we need to answer? Of course, the last thing is remember that social media is your incubator. Okay. So it can be a really good thing sometimes to get past somebody who waffles. We've all got at least one person in our business who can talk with marbles in their mouth underwater and never stops, and they sell their prospect in one end and oversell them out the other end. If you add them on social media, you could build a relationship with that person, and you might be able to help that prospect get into the business for that individual because you've built a relationship which maybe isn't vomiting all over them. So social media can be helpful for that. So with that in mind, now I'm going to hand you to the most amazing person in my life who's been an amazing mentor, and that is Alex Monterosa, our master distributor and double crown, to talk about follow through and closing. Cheers.
Well, hello everyone. This is Alex Monterosa and Mariana Monterosa, double crowns that knew me. Tonight we are here to just wish you the best 2026 ahead and to let you know that you're really in something that can change the outlook of your life and your generations to come. Mariana wanted to share something with you, okay? And she wanted to address you. She literally asked me and she wanted to speak to everyone. So I said, why not? She wants to show you her recently done princess makeover that she had. Where did you do this?
In Disney.
And Disney, at Disney, where we just spent the New Year's. Okay. And she also told me she wanted to say something in Spanish. Mariana, what do you want to tell everyone in Spanish? ¿Qué les quieres decir a todos en español?
Vayan Corona.
No, I'll translate for you in English. That means go crown. And yes, go crown. Okay, my love, I love you. Thank you. See, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just recap everything that's been so eloquently said by Karen and by Michael. Okay, which by the way, they're 2 gems in this industry, and they're 2 of most of them the most amazing leaders you will ever find. Field driven, just with their best at heart, and I can say this because I've been there by virtue of having a relationship with them, and I've been there at those meetings where we're just in the congruence with the company and with corporates thinking about how this can be better for everyone. Okay, but as better as it gets, it's only going to be as easy as you make it for you. So part of what we've shared is the stuff that you're going to need to go through, and that's going to help you, especially in this next few months when we're having our run. Okay, there's going to be over 400 meetings going on in over 74 countries across the world. That is amazing. And one of the things you need to understand that this is being done at the beginning of the year so that we can help you keep your New Year's resolution. What is your New Year's resolution? I'm sure within your resolutions, if you had a few, nobody has just one. Usually the typical ones are lose weight, okay, study or go back to school, and hit the gym, right? And hitting the gym is one of them that only lasts about 3 weeks. I think we can find out from ChatGPT what is the endurance of someone with their New Year's resolution and how fast they give up. I don't know what the percentage is, but I know it's very high of individuals that give up before their first 30 days. Okay, so this is going to help you maintain your New Year's resolution. At least it could be in three different areas of your life, which is the areas that I think we cater to the best. Number one is health wellness, okay, which, as you know, we have the products for that with breakthrough technology, never seen before technology with such an impact across the world that we're already in 74 countries. Okay, and we have generated millions of dollars in sales. And I said that not to say that, not to boast, but I say that because you can only sell millions if the product that you have is good. Okay, and you can only sell millions if the logistics behind the machine that's selling them is really, really compatible and really works well to be able to allow that type of growth. And that's what Yumi has become. Okay, so keep your New Year's resolution in the wellness area, find in the health wellness area, financial wellness area, and personal development, which some individuals call spiritual growth or expanding your consciousness, however you want to call it. You have an opportunity to tap into all those three right here: financial, health, and personal development or spiritual growth, however you may want to see it. You're going to have a lot of access to that here. And they all come in hand because then you're going to create a list. And it's not just a list of the individuals that you know, as we've been taught in the past. It's a list of the things you're going to need to do. I would suggest you watch this video over again. Once we're finished, it'll be up. You can watch it as many times as you want and go over the 12 steps that Karen shared. Go over the steps that Michael shared. Go over some of the steps that I'm sharing with you today. I decided to write it on a board because, as some of you know, this is my best friend, and it allows you to take a screenshot and be able to see what we're going through as bullet points and just recall everything that was being spoken here today. So create list of the things you need to do, and obviously a list of the individuals you're going to be sharing with. Those individuals you're going to contact and you're going to invite. And where do you invite them? In the next 60 days, you're going to invite them to any one of the 400 meetings we are having across the world. Basically, what it comes down to is I'll ask you the question. I want you in turn asking your team, who do you know in any one of these 74 countries that we could be sharing this? Because there's going to be meetings going on everywhere that we can plug people into the right time zone, the right language, and the right environment culturally. A lot of times that helps, okay, while we get to understand the Numi culture, which supersedes any boundary. But it is important for you to re-understand that these contacts and invites are going to go to a presentation. Any one of the types of presentations that Karen shared about or that Michael shared about. Okay, but the truth is that whoever is presenting will be someone that's qualified to be able to get the attention of your individuals. Karen said in her presentation that one of the most important things at a meeting is lightning. And I will tell you that that is true for every single environment meeting, not just a live meeting or a super big meeting, but also a Zoom meeting. And I would also tell you that the lightest and the brightest light should be the presenter and the hosts, because those are the ones that have more time to make an impact. And the more you shine, the more you bright, the more attractive you become, the more you're going to be able to help this culture grow and your team, for that matter, grow. So present the opportunity. If you're not yet with the confidence level enough where you feel like you need to present, then take leverage of all the meetings we're going to be having. um, I don't know how many of you have heard that network marketing is an opportunity to be able to generate residual income. And I'm not talking about any amounts, I'm talking about the way to generate money. Okay. And residual income is only possible by virtue of leveraging talents, leveraging meetings, leveraging languages, etc., etc. So I would say get them to an opportunity meeting. For that, you're going to have to be in tune with the calendar, okay, and where those meetings are going to be happening. Once you've done that, then we get into the follow-through, which Michael told you I would be sharing with you some about the follow-through, and I'll be finishing up in the next 7 minutes thereabout. The follow-through is very important because it is the step that happens right after these 400 meetings occur. Okay, you get them to the meeting, and the next thing you're going to do is, once the meeting is over, not 2 days later, not 5 days later. You do that immediately, because we also heard Karen say that it takes somebody 7 times to see something in order for them to make a decision. Okay, and that's based on just human nature and human conduct. I would say 6 to 7 times is very, very accurate to create a perceptual shift for somebody that has one belief towards something, and then with enough information, they can shift that belief or create a perceptual shift. Now, having said that, I would engage you to, the minute you have one of your invites, one of your prospects, one of your future partners in your team have attended a meeting or finished a Zoom meeting or gone through any of the larger meetings we're getting ready to have with over 300, 500 individuals, it's just going to go crazy in a good way. It's what I call, we're getting ready to have a tsunami. All right. And that's what we want. And having said that, the one thing, there's 3 questions you're going to ask in the follow through. And you're going to do it with your own personal style, but do not take wordings in or out. Do not adjust the wording on this, because there's a purpose behind it, and it has worked for me. It has taken me to double crown. One of my things is when I present or I have someone go through a presentation, or they've gone to a presentation in another state, another country, anywhere that it may be going on, I ask them, what did you like the most? I didn't ask them, what did you think? Because honestly, I don't really need to know what they think, because they're going to talk based on their previous information. And I'm the one that's been here longer than they have. Whether you just joined a week ago, a day ago, 2 days ago, you've been here longer, and you just didn't get the information 2 weeks ago, one day ago. You probably got information already for a few days that you've been digging into. So you have a more quality decision to make, and you've been making it. So you're not there to ask them what they think. You ask them, what did you like the most? And then you're quiet. And sometimes it's a moment of awkwardness, because they got to think about what they like the most. They do the recalling. The mind usually tends to focus on the negative, and that is a question that definitely would take them into the positive, because it's going to help you and allow you to understand what they saw and what their perspective was. Whether it was, I love the technology, although I don't understand it. I really like the opportunity to make additional income, or the product just really calls my attention, whichever one of the products it may be. So if it's product, you stick with the product, and eventually take them and start feeding them opportunity. But you don't feed them opportunity. You don't feed someone numbers that has seen the science. Okay, and you don't feed someone science that has seen the numbers. Some individuals have seen the opportunity. Do not talk to them more about the product. They've already seen the opportunity. They'll learn about the product as they go along and they move along, but they've already seen a light at the end of the tunnel of opportunity. Okay, so having said that, you're going to ask them, what did you like the most? And once they give you their answer, you wait for their answer. You ask them, how do you like to get your information? What kind of information do you prefer? Do you like videos? Do you like Zoom meetings? Do you like live meetings? Do you like reading books or reading manuals or reading white papers or whatever the case may be? What do you like? And be quiet and listen, because people will tell you, oh, I like videos for the most part, through which means WhatsApp. A lot of times we take individuals to download apps that they don't use or they don't have, and a lot of times they'll think about it twice before downloading an app, just if that's your way to feed someone information. So I'd suggest you have about 3 or 4 channels available, whether it's email, whether it's Instagram messaging, or same thing, Facebook Messenger, or whether it's through Telegram. WhatsApp is a big one. So whichever one it may be, just become proficient in the use of those tools, which will allow you to convey the right message. So once you've done that, is you feed them in the way that they told you they want to be fed. Okay, so those are the 2 questions, and you continue to send them information. Do not create information overload, because then they think, oh my God, I gotta learn all this before I can make anything happen. I'm not interested. Okay, so just give them the right information, and that'll get you to getting them started, which is what some call the closing, where it's really where everything begins, because that's where the duplication process and the going to work together occurs. So this is the 3rd question you're going to ask them. Are we ready to start your business? And you're going to ask that from the very first time that you ask them, what did you like the most? Oh, I like the product. So are we ready to start your business? And then they'll give you an objection or not. For that, I would suggest that you go to number 8 and you counsel with a mentor all the time, that you have a very successful mentor that can literally guide you into a curve and speed up your curve of knowledge, okay, in this industry, where you will see how to handle objections. You will definitely find out and figure out how not just to handle objections, but how to get others to the point where they're understanding what you're putting in front of them. Okay, so counsel with a mentor, and this counseling with a mentor comes from you choosing an active mentor, and that's somebody that's most definitely going to be in your upline because they have an interest, a financial interest, and a personal interest to create a relationship with you. Because one of the other perks of this industry is having the most incredible relationships and friendships that you're going to get to meet by building your opportunity. So those are the 3 questions. The last one is, are we ready to start your business? As I said before, we is plural. That means you and I. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm going to toss you into the lion's den and you're going to do this on your own. You figure it out. It's we. I'm going to be there with you. And if you crawl, most likely won't crawl with you, but I'll walk by your side. And if you walk, I'll walk. And if you run, I'm going to be here to run with you. Okay, especially in this next 60 days where everything is occurring and we're in a momentum phase here at NYKO. And that is big. That is big for everyone. Okay, so very important. Are we ready? We means we're together. I'm going to help you. We're going to lock arms and it's your business. Are we ready to start your business? Because at the end of the day, it's your business. My business began, in my case, 4.5 years ago. In your case, however many days, months, years ago. Awesome. Okay, so are we ready to start your business? Yes or no? If the answer is no, what's holding you back? Oh, I don't have the money. That's an objection. Oh, I don't have the time. That's an objection. Oh, I don't know anybody. That's an objection. That is just an excuse for them not to go out and learn something new. But how do we get over that? Not by saying, okay, bye-bye, this isn't for you, but by giving them information and surrounding them with the right environment where they see that the one thing that's their motive right now, why they think they can do this, was somebody else's motive to go ahead and build this. And you bring them around that culture. So, having said that, I want to wish everyone an amazing 2026, full of some of your life's desires. Okay, and it's not that I don't want them, wish them all upon you, but you in life you can have everything you want, but you got to take your steps and you got to go towards them as you move along. So I do want to wish everyone the most incredible 2026. Go ahead and make this next 60 days turn your life around. That can literally happen. And because I've seen it, I've been the testimony of it, and I've seen it happen in the lives of many others. And I will end with the wise words of my daughter. Go Crown. 2026 is your year. Bye bye, everyone.